watching Komo News at 6.
These people, everything they have is gone. They need housing. They need help. They need to quit being looked at as just a homeless person and stuff like that. They need help.
We really do want to help get these folks housed, and we want them to be in a situation that is safe for them.
Now at 6, Tacoma City crews started clearing a notorious homeless encampment due to serious safety concerns.
911 calls have tripled at the encampment near People's Park in Tacoma. Most of the calls have been about fires or shots being fired. Komo's Paul Rivera is live in Tacoma. Paul, you talked to people who are unhappy with the city's response, didn't you?
Now, depending on who you talk to, some say the city is doing a good job. Some say the city is not doing a good job. Right behind me, that's a plot of land that will be in the near future turned into shelter space, but that doesn't address the current needs. In Tacoma today, cleanup work being done on a homeless encampment found on the streets near People's Park.
We've repaired their cars. We've given them food. We've been good neighbors for them. And it's gotten to the point that it's got overwhelming for us.
Bernal Baca spoke to us. He's with the organization Mi Centro, which provides services for the Latino and indigenous community. Their building is located right next to the cleanup.
Most of my staff don't want to come to work because they're afraid to get out of the car, and they're harassed by them. And you know, I personally have been accosted.
He approves of the city's work. Others in the area, not so much.
These people, everything they have is gone. When they come through and take their stuff and everything, there's people that go overboard and stuff like that, but we need resources.
And other organizations on site today just trying to help out how they can.
Helping those people who are homeless get resources. We don't believe in the sweeps. We don't believe anybody should be displaced.
We have shelter vacancies available for folks that want it.
At the head of this complex issue is the city of Tacoma, who say there is shelter space and they're currently working to create more.
We can't force people to go into shelters, and nor do we want to. We want to be able to support every individual and where they're at and how we can best support them. But we also have to keep in mind of safety concerns too with the rest of the community.
Adding they don't want to just move people from street to street.
It is not our intention to move folks from one area to another and have that. We really do want to help get these folks housed.
So city officials told me today that they're working on 3 different locations in the near term to expand shelter capacity around the city. We're not too far away from People's Park here on MLK Junior Way. That plot of land, again, in the near future, it's going to be developed into adding shelter capacity for the city of Tacoma. In Tacoma, Paul Rivera, Komo News.
Paul, thank you. Between January and March of this year, that encampment generated 243 calls to 911. For that same period a year earlier, it was just 65 calls. The number of calls in March alone jumped 359% year to year. The majority of those calls were to report fires, gunshots, or requesting a welfare check.
It's a weather-worn day as windy conditions continue across the Puget Sound area this evening. Here's a live look from our Komo cam, and you can see every once in a while it'll start to move back and forth a bit. Still gusty outside. While the worst of the wind may be behind us, many areas are still dealing with power outages. This is a live look from one of those areas, Cold Creek Parkway and Forest Drive in Bellevue, where a tree fell onto power lines. Thousands of people in this neighborhood are still in the dark. We're joined now by meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. Conditions are slowly improving, Shan?
Very slowly. Still really blustery out there tonight. We've had so many spring storms this year, Mary, that they're all starting to run together. But we promised you that this one would be different because the wind was going to run away with the headlines. That's still very much the case. Still some rain out there, slim chance for some lingering thunder, lightning, and hail. We're getting some mountain snow again this evening, too. But the wind definitely getting all the attention as we head into our Wednesday evening. Look at some of the gusts. It's no wonder that it has received all of that attention. Over 60 miles per hour in some locations down in the lowlands, including Port Townsend, Mount Rainier for a while. The summit there blowing to 90 up above. And then right over Camino Island, gusting to 53. Even SeaTac Airport reporting a blow over 40. So these are significant winds considering how deep we are into the spring season. It's easing right now, but we're still seeing some really really blustery conditions right through the metro area, including right now between 35 and 45 miles per hour over Lake Washington. We've had those big white caps there on the southern sides of the floating bridges as a result. And the wind advisory from the Weather Service has indeed been extended now through 8 o'clock tonight. Still looking at a few remaining gusts there, 35 to 45, before things ease after dark. And will they continue to ease as we head into the spring weekend? We'll check on that forecast coming up shortly.
All right, thanks, Shannon. Well, the wind has been wild right after our live shot here at 5 o'clock. We were talking about 3 people who had to be rescued from this rowboat on Lake Washington. This shot came up. It was live on WashShot at the time, and we rolled on this, and we're bringing it to you now. But 3 people were rescued from the boat, 2 adults and a child, both all wearing life jackets. And then this video came up. So after they rescued the people, got them back to shore, and then evaluated them for being in those cold temperatures, you saw the boat smashing up against the I-90 floating bridge, and just those violent waves out there from all of that wind pushing and making those whitecaps happen. It eventually got towed away, and that boat now being taken back to shore. Let's go out live to Bellevue now. This is on northbound Coal Creek at Forest Drive, where that tree came down on the power line. You can see the crews finally out there working to get this tree down. Now around 4 o'clock, Bellevue PD said it would be about 2 hours. They were anticipating 2 hours until they could have this reopened, but it looks like it's going to be more like 3 or possibly even 4 as this tree remains leaning onto that power line. I do want to show you one thing quickly here. This is the PSE outage map. It continues to go up. 15,000 customers impacted right now with 82 active outages.
We're learning more details about a dog that attacked an 11-year-old girl in Auburn. Video shows 2 dogs surrounding her on Friday, and then one of them biting her arm. Auburn Animal Control told Komo's Michelle Esteban that the little girl did everything right. They're now investigating and deciding if that dog owner will face charges. Michelle?
Yeah, absolutely right, Eric. In fact, one of the 2 dogs was shot and killed by police. That officer was worried he was going to be attacked next. So what that means is Auburn police right now investigating this like they would any other officer-involved shooting. Meantime, Animal Control here has a case they say could have been much worse.
11-year-old Mariana McCraggy was calm under pressure, cornered on her own porch by 2 dogs as she returned home from school Friday.
For her to be brave like that.
Auburn's Animal Control says most adults couldn't remain this calm.
They start to flank her. This is a pack mentality.
The 5th grader grabbed a broom to create space between her and the dogs.
Trying to keep my distance and trying to be safe. And, well, I closed my eyes because I was really scared, and then, well, I got bit.
She took a lot of great steps.
She didn't turn her back on the animals or make any sudden moves or noises.
I'm proud of her, you know, that she's still here to tell a story.
Animal Control Officer Ray Peckham says that's no exaggeration. When a police officer arrived on scene, this happened. The dogs charged right at him, captured on the officer's body cam. The officer backs up, then shoots, killing one of the dogs.
What were your impressions of that body cam video?
This dog was fixated on the officer, and a fixated stare just indicates he's going to continue on the path and choose to bite whatever he's going at.
Peckham reviewed the video frame by frame and noticed this worrisome move.
His tail was flagging, it wasn't wagging. Flagging and wagging are often confused. So flagging is straight up and it's kind of wafting, whereas wagging, it's a complete body wiggle.
By law, the dog is in 10-day quarantine with its owner, their next-door neighbor. It's the dog that bit Mariana. How the dog got loose is under investigation. I tried repeatedly to talk to the owner, but no answer. Mariana's mom is waiting on the investigation, but wants assurances her children will be safe in their own yard.
I'm doing really good right now. Don't really want that to happen again.
Just such a cute kid. Glad she is okay. Animal Control, by the way, could deem that dog either potentially dangerous or dangerous. Both of those come with some pretty severe consequences and penalties. The owner could face fines as well, and possibly a criminal charge for the injuries to that child. This all remains under investigation. Animal Control here at Auburn PB tells me that this will probably be wrapped up in about 2 weeks. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Esteban, Komo News.
Michelle, thank you. Coronavirus activity across the state of Washington continues to creep up higher. The latest numbers from the state health department show a 7-day case rate of 208 infections per 100,000 people. That's up from 187 just 1 week ago, and nearly triple the rate from a month earlier. Our low point of the year came in mid-March with a case rate of 40 per 100,000 people. With cases continuing to climb, we asked Governor Inslee if there are plans to bring back a statewide mask mandate.
So that's not under consideration right now. So we don't have any immediate consideration of additional measures like that. And we may have some changes on this in the next week or so. We'll discuss in a few days, probably.
We'll continue to monitor that situation and let you know what happens next.
Now to that blockbuster development in the world of sports. The United States Soccer Federation has agreed to equal pay for the men's and women's national teams. The landmark deal closes the gap in what each team gets for World Cup prize money. The teams will pool prize money from their respective appearances, then divvy it up equally between the players and the federation. That's a first for any country.
The men are saying, and U.S. Soccer saying, the women are worth it. They're so powerful. They bring fans and viewers to the game.
As part of the deal, U.S. Soccer will also share a portion of broadcast, sponsorship, and ticket revenue equally with the men's and women's teams.
The landmark deal is hitting home with Washington State and Puget Sound region, especially knowing that Megan Rapinoe of Seattle's OL Reign has been a huge part of the push for equal pay. Komo's Suzanne Fon joins us live with more on what local fans and others are saying.
So a lot of people I talked to today realize this is a truly historic moment. They say it's about time, but they also say there's a lot more work to be done.
We are thrilled. I am thrilled. Yay.
There is no reason to have that pay gap.
It's great. It's just kind of embarrassing it's taken this long to happen.
On the streets of Seattle, people are ecstatic to hear that the U.S. Soccer Federation is offering women's teams pay equal to men's teams.
I think it's a great step towards the goal that we're heading to.
It's a move that U.S. player Megan Rapinoe has been pushing for.
Thank you, Megan, and all the people that worked to make this happen.
We're so thrilled about this necessary step towards equality for women in sports.
According to economists, Washington women earn about 84 cents for every dollar a man earns for the same job and the same skill level. Mina Rishi is an economics professor at Seattle University.
In the state of Washington, it's actually worse. Slightly worse than the rest of the country.
Rishi offers one reason for the gender pay gap in the Evergreen state.
It has to do with the high cost of bearing a child in the state of Washington and not enough support for mothers.
As groups continue to push for equal pay for equal work involving women, that could mean a push for more transparency.
There should be more transparency at the corporate level where everybody knows what people are paid. Within limits.
Reagan Jackson is with Why We, Young Women Empowered, which is based in Seattle.
One of the things that we've been working on at Why We is a salary transparency matrix. There's no reason where if two people are equitably educated, that they shouldn't be paid the same amount for the same job.
Now, soccer star Megan Rapinoe, we know, has testified before Congress and been a huge part of that gender pay gap fight. Now, on Twitter today, she thanks the women who led the fight for equal pay and are here now, and she says, quote, incredibly proud today. Live in Seattle, Suzanne Fon, Komo News.
Improving indoor air quality, we take a look at King County's indoor air program and also what school districts are doing to improve the air.
Well, the air around here blowing around right now, but are we still looking forward to a brighter and calmer weekend? We'll discuss it. My forecast is coming up next.